Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mansoor Arora from Lepton Software, and we welcome you all for today's webinar on Google Maps API for business expansion, COVID-19 and beyond. We hope that everyone is safe and healthy, and I would like to thank you for joining us for this session. This session will be for 30 minutes, and we will have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. I would request you all to kindly type your questions and queries in the Q&A window, and we will take them after the presentation is finished. Our speaker for the day is Mr. Varun Johar. Mr. Varun is working with Lepton as Business Development Head for Google Maps platform and solution. He has previously got experience of working with one of the top MNCs in India. Now I would request Mr. Varun to take the session forward with his presentation on the topic of the day. Mr. Varun.
Thanks, Mansoor. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another webinar with us. But this is going to be a little different, and I hope everyone is safe and sound. So I really wanted to start off with today's agenda, and we prepared a small agenda over here, which would be where we would actually briefly discuss about the current business scenarios and how does the future looks like. And we'll deep dive into the importance of location intelligence for business expansion, a little bit on the API usage that can be helpful in this unprecedented and uncalled times, and then followed by how it can help, how it has actually helped some of the different industry segments. And then at the end, we'll close it off with a small overview of who's Lepton and what we do, and then we can take all the questions that you have. With that in mind, let's start today by talking about today's situation. COVID-19 wasn't something that anyone planned for. Yeah, 1 in a million of the cases, but that happened. Right? There's so much of chaos that we can't even keep a track of it. No one can keep a track of it, right? It's very difficult for people and for the business as well. People are impacted financially, mentally, and some of them both, right? According to what we believe, security, performance, reliability, and cost optimization, these are like the few pillars. These are the key pillars of having the right visibility for your business. Think about it from a situation as to what has happened as of now. The policies are changing almost on a daily basis, right? And it's not like policies which are changing at your level. We're talking about policies changing at government level, right? National, state, even at the international level. And then the overall scenario is so much confusing that it's almost impossible for an organization to manage it. But the question is, the business goes on, and how do we make sure that it actually keeps on running? This is how the business expansion looks like. What we used to do in the past, we used to go to the office, we used to meet with people, greet with them, we used to talk about business and then meet face to face, all those things, right? As of now, we're doing all those things, but more on a virtual environment. How does the future looks like? Very limited people. You're working with them, but it's going to be probably a mix of virtual and as well as how we used to do in the past. But again, as I mentioned, business expansion is the importance of it, right? That's what the real question is, and I think that's why we are here right now, right? How do we actually make sure that people are safe, and then the business expansion, and we expand the business accordingly? So with that, I would actually want to introduce SmartMarket. Now, question is, what is SmartMarket? SmartMarket is a location intelligence platform which can help companies plan their expansion in the most appropriate and the effective manner. It's a combination of analysis that has been done. Now, if I really have to put it across in a way, it's all the data that we get, and we're going to talk about it a little more. the data that we get the data from. So we have a partnership with Vodafone Idea. So that's the telecom data. And then we do have census, and we do our own field survey data as well. All that data that we bring on is used and is powered by Google Cloud Platform and the Google Maps platform, which would help us, using the artificial intelligence and machine learning technology, try and analyze what could be the best location for you to open up, if in case you want to open up a new store or a new outlet. Think it from that perspective. And then we always have, I mean, you always have your own data, and then we do have like third party as well that we take over. A small overview, but we're going to deep dive into that a little later. With that, what I want to do over here, I would want to play a small video just to give you a small idea of, just to give you an idea about what SmartMarket actually looks like, what business expansion means for it. Great. I hope you enjoyed the video, and that would have given you a little more idea about what I actually am going to discuss about. So moving further, let's just talk about smart markets a little more. As I said, it's actually a location intelligence platform which would help you in your business expansion. But then the question is, with all that data that is available, how can we analyze all that data? Like, think about it from a perspective. If you actually want to analyze on the basis of the people that are staying over there, or what kind of spends are they actually doing, or the the footfall of that particular location, that makes a lot of sense for you to open up a location in that area, which would actually add a lot of affluence level for you. More people who are, say for example, if you are already if you want to open up a new location, the things that, I mean, obviously you would have to analyze a lot of things if you want to open up a new location. Some of them would be, if you want to see where your existing customers are, that area, you would want to occupy that area. You would also want to see if you have your competitor sitting over there, or if there is a potential market who's actually there, right? That analysis that I'm talking about, all that data which is going to be required by you for this opening up a new outlet, that's what the smart market is all about. it would actually help you in catchment analysis as well. Now, these are three that we have tried to explain a little more, and I would spend like some time over it. Now, we actually have three polygons which you could actually, two polygons that we could actually create. Now think about it as I said, a store location, and you would want to analyze the kind of distance, the drive distance from a potential customer to your store location, right? That is really important. Say, for example, 3 kilometers radius, right? Or 5 kilometers radius. That's what we want. Or the drive distance. How difficult or how easy would it be for the customer to drive to from their location to your store, right? Or vice versa. For say for example, anything and everything that we talk about a business expansion is going to be directly or indirectly related to revenue generated. So say, for example, a sales guy walking up to a potential customer, right? What's that distance analysis? So it's that analysis that I'm talking about. And then the third one talks about buffer, which is more like the potential customers available in that particular location, or if there is another competitor dealer who's sitting out there, or a retail outlet. Now, question is, what can you do with what all can you do with smart analysis? So you can actually do that planning. The store planning can be done on smart analysis, SmartMarket, and then you can also do all sort of risk assessment if this could be the right location for you to if this is the right location that you would want to pick for business or not. Doing the marketing campaign, as I said, you can pick on the basis of and I'll go a little deep into that as well. So you can actually pick on the basis of what's the segment that you're trying to target. You're trying to target more female versus male population, or you're actually trying to target young versus old, like that kind of comparison I'm talking about. And then the marketing campaigns planning can happen accordingly. And the sales forecasting, as I was saying, somewhere, anywhere, actually, the business expansion or the business priorities is going to be directly or indirectly related with the sales, right? So sales forecasting becomes pretty good when you have those sort of intelligence and analysis with you. Now, so this is what I was talking about. Take this for an example, right? It actually classifies the location on the basis of age group or gender profile. Like that's exactly what I was talking about earlier, right? Young versus old, or maybe female versus male population. Whom are we actually trying to target, right? And then the area we're talking about, catchment, right? Then, as I said, we have the telecom data, so we do have partnership with Vodafone Idea, and it would actually tell us more about what kind of handsets are being used. So if I really have to put it across in other terms, we would be able to analyze the spend, the kind of population that's available over there, and what kind of spend can they actually do. I think that's a pretty decent analysis to be done. And then we present all across, not only on the urban sectors, but even in the rural areas. And we do get, because Vodafone captures more than 40% of, if I'm not wrong, more than 40% of market share. And the data is completely accurate, and it's actually amazing. It will help you bifurcate on the basis of demographics, important data points, population. So as I was talking about census or the field survey that we do, the working population, gender splits, that kind of data. Now this data is it's actually up to date till 2019, and we expect it to have another update by 2021, if I'm not wrong. Basis of the lifestyle, as I was mentioning, what kind of handsets are we actually, what kind of handsets people are using. So to analyze the spending power of the population, or people that we are trying to cater to, or the potential market that we're trying to look for, the device patterns or the usage pattern. If there are specific iPhone users in a particular area, we would be able to analyze how many iPhone users would be there present in that area, and then basis that we would be able to do the cost analysis and the spend analysis. And again, that's just one of the examples, but then definitely there are more things that we can analyze on. Point of interests, right? We've actually categorized it in, as it rightly says, 16 major categories and about 179 subcategories. Shopping malls, restaurant, education services, you name it. We've already mapped it. When we know that, right? And then categories can be tailored according to your business as well. It can be tailored. It can be altered basis on what you want to look for. More than 75 lakhs POIs across India. That's what we have, and then the data is obviously, we keep on updating our field data, and then the to give you the most accurate information that we can. This is what I was talking about, the telecom data. As I've mentioned before as well, and I think I've mentioned this twice, thrice now. So we do have partnership with Vodafone Idea, where we get all sort of data on the basis of the users, on how they're using or utilizing, basis of the age group or the subscriber type, how often they're using the roaming services. As of now, I mean, I understand the roaming is like pretty limited, but if they're actually using the roaming services, how are they using it? And if they're making international calls, how often are they making it? And all those things, right? The roaming status, the handsets. I was giving you an example for iPhone users, right? We would be able to analyze in that particular area how many iPhone users are there, which gives you a more idea about their spending power, which would help you some way or the other analyze the potential spend pattern. And then we talk about Lepton's data, which is again a mix of consensus and the field survey that we actually do, where we talk about the age group, the POIs, which I was actually talking about, the employment status of people, working versus non-working people, and then basis of pin codes and gender and everything. Okay. Now, the question over here is, we've actually talked about business intelligence. We've actually talked about how business expansion can be done and what sort of analysis do we require. We know that any business expansion, I mean, 70% of business expansion do require location intelligence to be done before they could enter that space or plan for it. It's the most important part of the planning, right? But the real question is, it's this time, which the uncalled time, the COVID period, right, where everyone has been impacted some way or the other, and then everyone has gone virtually. How can we actually go ahead and expand the business and talk about that planning in this period? That's what the area would be. And I think with that, I would want to introduce an API, which is myCOVIDrisk API, which is powered by Google Maps platform, which is going to help you in analyzing the risk situation in a more effective manner. If you're planning on to open up a store location or a retail outlet, you would be able to plan out if you want to avoid that area or not. We'll talk about that a little more. But just wanted to give you a brief that this API would actually help you in analyzing the area that you would want to open, if you want to avoid that area or not. Is it safe for your people or not? You know what they say, one person can make or break your business because of this COVID, right? I don't blame them, but that's the truth. So what we're doing right now, we're trying to work in a very safe environment right now. We're trying to do virtual, and if we actually can't avoid virtual, we're trying to maintain distances even in the offices. We're taking all sort of precautions that we should, so that people don't get affected. After all, it's because of the people that we run our businesses, right? So we make sure that people don't get affected, and we also ensure that our business continues to grow and expand. But outside the place, it's difficult, right? I don't know. It's yet we prove that whether COVID is a community spread or not. But think about it, that situation, if a particular area is actually closed down, how would you know? You can't keep on checking the entire lists, or you can't keep on checking if every time if this area is actually safe for you and your people or not, or for business or not. Now, to give you a little more sense about the API, I would want to show another video for myCOVIDrisk.
With high COVID risk, can risk closing down your business. Introducing myCOVIDrisk, a software solution to ensure your business continuity with zero COVID risk. An API that tracks quarantine and containment zones in real time. A must-have and easy-to-integrate solution for manufacturing, retail, BPOs, delivery and logistics, transportation, and many more. Now you can identify employees living in or coming to work from quarantined areas. Proactively advise them to stay home. Accept or refuse orders or requests from customers in quarantine zones. Correct any routing or delivery schedules that pass through quarantine zones. You can use our software or use API to extend the functionality within your existing software. All in real time. Make your workplace safe and get your business on track like never before. myCOVIDrisk. Simple, quick, accurate. Powered by Google Maps platform.
Oh, I truly believe that was a nice video. Okay, so going forward, what exactly does myCOVIDrisk API tells you? It actually helps you analyze all those risk activity or the movements, right? Think about it from those. I mean, whatever you analyze from that video, it would help you analyze those risk zones or those containment areas, right? And then try and avoid those. And so at business, the benefit of the business is that you would be able to analyze and get that information upfront. Yeah, and then based on that, you would be able to plan out your activities in a much more effective manner. Whether you want to open up a shop in that complex or area or not, whether you would prefer, having your field sales guy going over there, or a delivery person, be it the e-commerce, if you want to avoid that area, or if you want to reroute it, right? So all sort of activities that would actually help you, and then that accordingly you would be able to plan out on your movements as well. Now, myCOVIDrisk APIs will actually get you to get that risk analysis done for you, right, from the point and to the address. The risk actually would help you analyze the route based on your destination, and the paths that the polylines, that's what we call it, right? And then the bulk points, routes, and then the file uploads. The APIs would actually help you get those different risk zones across India. Really important for you. I mean, think about it. If you've already taken SmartMarket, you've already done all sort of analysis, and then in this time, if you have myCOVIDrisk API, think about it. What all can you do in the combination of two? So I really want to talk about. I mean, I would talk about Lepton and who we are at the end, but the force behind myCOVIDrisk is definitely what we have analyzed in the past and then applied to the to COVID. So we do have like the 200 plus member team who's involved 24/7 only for your satisfaction. So again, customer experience and customer satisfaction is one thing that Lepton would play on, and we don't want our clients landed on. So hence we do have that longer team which would be involved and would be happy to help you out in every situation 24/7, right? We do collect all sort of information which is from 500 plus sources every day, including print, social media, to give you that analysis. And then all sort of data sources, and then the government websites as well. So we keep a track of it so that you don't have to do that legwork. This is a small summary for myCOVIDrisk API as to what it does. It will help you. So as we've mentioned and we've seen in the video as well, it will help you in the route analysis. You can divert, avoid that route. It will help you in the activity data. So since it's powered by Google Maps, Google Map View would be there, and then the address analysis as per the APIs, and then the you would be able to analyze the risk as well, and of course the movement. So a complete summary of what we have discussed about on the myCOVIDrisk and how it's actually going to help you out. Now, I really want to spend some time on how these how businesses from different industry segments have actually helped. Have we assisted partnering with us using SmartMarket and myCOVIDrisk, right? So let's talk about e-commerce or delivery services as of now. So think about it from that perspective. We'll be able to identify the hotspots, or map out all the zones and the routes for your delivery person. Avoid those high risk areas, and then plan your logistics accordingly. Then map out the journey of a person, and then maintain that record for their travel. So we talk about courier services, pet care. I mean, these are some of the delivery services that we actually kept over here: groceries, medical supplies. And then the next one is FMCG and retail. So again, from the FMCG or retail store perspective, again, sales is something that we really want, right? So sales planning based on the shops can be open, and when can and when can it be open? Like, what's the footfall, right? If you remember, we talked about SmartMarket and what sort of footfall looks like in that particular time or a duration of a day, right? Basis that you can actually plan on that, and then plan on your supply and distribution accordingly. Then also align your field team, to the service area which is not on the containment zone. As I have said this earlier as well, you would be able to avoid. It's the people that we care about, and also at the same time we want our business to be running, right? So take care of the people, take care of the business, right? Something like Mr. Sir Richard Branson used to say. So again, so we can actually do all sort of analysis where we can avoid those areas, and yet have the sales go up and have the revenue come in for the business, right? Next is ID and ITES industry. You can actually assess the risk associated. You can have you can track out the containment zone. You can ask your employees not to step out, and then maybe stay at home if that's the area. As of now, I know that most of people are working from home, but some situations you really can't avoid, right? So I think you would be able to analyze that situation in a much more efficient manner, and then you would be able to comment on it or communicate to your employees accordingly. And then the tracking and the asset tracking to ensure that the staff is not operating in any sort of containment zone. And again, assurance of the safety for your employees, right? And again, for your business as well. Then for manufacturing, anticipate the potential changes, right? The model, how should the plan react in case of fluctuation, right? Also monitor public health. This COVID-19 situation, and how do you make sure, or how do you recommend if it's actually safe for them to come to the office and work in that particular location or not, right? So those sort of things that I did wanted to mention about that. And not to forget banking and financial institutions, where the tech-enabled functionality has to be improved and in the timely manner, right? So you can actually ensure if you want to access that information. And then you remember we talked about the catchment areas. So the catchment area analysis for branches to understand if they're actually in the restricted zones, right? We know how the ATMs are working as of now. Some of them would be working, some of them would not be working, depending on depending on the areas that we actually are staying in. If it's actually comes under containment zone, there's no point running the ATM, because maybe they would be able to. I mean, if it's a containment zone, I shouldn't be commenting on it. But if it's a containment zone, my take is that they wouldn't be able to, fill up the cash with it. So you would have to figure out other ways as to how you can, and again, it's for the safety of the employees as well. With that, I would want to take a minute or so to introduce ourselves. We're Lepton, Lepton Software, and we're more than 25 years in location intelligence and analysis. We're one of the pioneers, premier partner for Google Cloud and Maps platform. We're serving more than 12 plus industries, and then more than 300 data analysis. I've already talked about a lot about the data that we gather, and then we do have more than 300 data analysts, and then data engineers and GIS specialists. So we actually specialize in that. And then the most important part is that we're here to service our clients to the utmost level. And then this is like a small list of our clients as to how they look like and growing. Thank you so much. I think we were okay. Great. Thank you so much, and I would be open for questions.
Thank you, Varun, for the insightful presentation. We would now begin our Q&A session and respond to your queries. I would request you all to kindly type in your queries you have in the Q&A window for our technical team to answer them. And also, I would like to request you all to kindly fill up a small feedback form by clicking on the link that I am just putting up in the Q&A window, and it will help us to improve our sessions for future. So I would introduce Swapna to take up the questions that have come into us, and again request the audience to put up the questions which they would like to ask the team.
Hello everyone. So there is a question from Naveen and Pari regarding whether the solution can be integrated with on-prem applications. Could you please repeat the question? Hi Dilip. Maybe we can show a sample request and response offline. We do not have it currently in the webinar. Yes, the PPT will be shared with you for future reference. These APIs are very easy to integrate with a third-party system, Naveen and Parikh. There is an option on the SmartMarket platform where you can upload data along with the telecom data as mentioned by Varun in the presentation, along with the telecom and census data. You can easily integrate it with a third-party system, and it should work as intended to. Yes, yes, totally, Naveen and Parikh. It can be integrated with an on-premise hosted application. Varun, if you're still there on the webinar, maybe you could answer this question.
I'm here. Which one?
Yeah. The last one regarding the FMCG companies.
Okay, so if I really have to, okay, just to answer a question, I think we would be able, we actually would be happy to take this one-on-one as well. But if I really have to give you a little bit of overview on how FMCG are using the platform, I would say that if they are actually looking forward to open up so as I said before as well in my presentation, if you're actually looking forward to open up a new outlet, or a new look, or you're looking for a business expansion in a the most important factor for you is location intelligence. There's a lot of analysis that has been that already gets, people do it to analyze if you want to open that store in that area. And as I said, we use all sort of data to analyze if that location could be a preferable location for you or not. Now, this data can be converted, obviously, and on the basis of your requirements, and can be altered as well. So once you do that alteration, once you have your priorities set as to how you want to take it, and I think that's the way it would actually help you in doing those analysis, and then it'll give you those those feedback if this location is your preferable. It'll actually open up the area for you that ABC is like the preferred locations. You pick and choose as to what you want to pick, right? So at the end, it's your decision, but then the artificial intelligence and machine learning works in a way where it would analyze the data as per your requirements and your priorities, if that answers the question.
Yeah, thank you so much, Varun. I think that answers the question. Other details that I can provide you is SmartMarket has the option of giving you drive time polygon, drive time distance analysis. There are multiple analysis, intersection analysis. There are various layers, there are various variables of data that you can add, and all of this combined together can give you a good analysis for your organization. So the next question from Satish and Kumar is regarding what interval can you call the API to get COVID-19 affected areas? I think that depends on your use case. The data gets updated every 4 hours in the COVID-19 API. If it suffices that you call it once a day for your application, that should work as well. Or if you would like to call it at multiple intervals, maybe 4 times a day, maybe 2 times a day, that should also work for you. SmartMarket is an entire product that has been customized and developed by Lepton solely and completely. We have used the Google Map APIs in it, but it has been entirely developed by Lepton software. Hi, Ankit. I am sure you're asking about the COVID-19 API. If the API would show whether the building or the business house is closed, it may not show whether it is closed or open, but it will show you whether it falls under a high containment zone or a high risk zone area. That is the prime motive of this API. It will show you whether a particular building, complex, or business house is under a high risk zone area.
Okay, thank you, Swapna, for answering the questions which our audience had. I think so. We just got one more question that has just come up.
Yeah, sure. We'll take it up. So this question is from Gauri, and will it include all types of POIs of India? Please do mention what kind of POIs are you expecting when it comes to census data. You have working population count, you have male and female population count, you have different handset variables, and the cost of the handsets, and how many people are using what handsets at what cost, the age, everything. These are some of the variables that I mentioned. I just mentioned it is updated 4 times a day. I'm talking about the COVID-19 API over here, Naveen, and the COVID-19 data is updated 4 times a day.
Okay, thank you again, Swapna, for answering the questions, and I would like to thank Varun for the presentation. Before we close in, there's a mail ID which we have displayed on the screen, and also I'm typing on the chat window. You can share all your queries on this mail ID, and we can assist you further by aligning you with our technical team. We have one more last question. We can take this up, Swapna. If we can take this up, last question.
Yeah, sure. I'm reading it. Hi, Ankit. Data, the data point that you're trying to assess over here, whether that site is closed or not, like I mentioned earlier, whether it is closed or not, it's a business status. When it comes to a Google API, it will be available in the Google API. But if you're talking about COVID-19 perspective API, then in the COVID-19 API that SmartMarket is providing you, in that you will be able to assess whether that particular point is under a risk zone area or not.
Okay,
It will
so I
show you,
think
it
So
will
I
show
think
you whether it will show you whether that particular place is under a risk zone area or not. It may not show you whether it is closed or not.
Okay, I think now we can move forward and close this session. So again, thank you very much for So thanks the audience for attending our session, and thank you Varun, thank you Sapna for also assisting our audience with the answers to their questions and queries, and for the wonderful presentation. So we look forward to your attendance on our next Google Maps webinar. Thank you. Have a great day ahead. Goodbye and stay safe. Thank you.